Ed here with the Digital Digest, and today I wanted to share a quick unboxing and first look at the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 7 for 2025. Now, this phone retails for roughly $2,000 US. Of course, trade-ins are still applicable. I will be trading in my Fold 6 if everything goes as planned, and I'm very excited about this device. Now, I pre-ordered it when it was announced on July 8th. Today is the 23rd, and it just arrived. And I went with the 1 TB version of the device in Midnight Blue. I believe that's the name. And I'm just excited because these were the changes that I've been waiting for quite some time from Samsung. So in terms of specifications, the first things you should know is that there is no more S Pen support. I get the bad news out of the way first. And I say that because when it comes to productivity and having a device like this that can really do everything, losing that feature is big. Now, granted, I haven't used it for a while, admittedly, but having an even larger display, both on the front and interior, I feel like it's a missed opportunity. For anyone who really needed it for productivity, it's a big loss. But at the same time, I just stated, I haven't been using it. So, as a result, while I'm not happy that they've taken that away, along with the under-screen camera for selfies, which, of course, many people have complained for or about, and I understand exactly why. Quality was always very poor. I will miss that under-screen display, or excuse me, camera, simply because now we will have an impeded display. But those are the worst elements of this brand new phone. Let's get into the best parts of it. And this is a real maturation, I think, really a final product, if you will, here in the 7th generation of what I think Samsung always envisioned for the Fold lineup. The external, the front display is now 6.5 inches. The Fold 6 was 6.3, which was an improvement, but now we finally have a display that's the size of a flagship device on the front, which means that if you never want to open the phone, if you're one of those people who think you'll never need the interior display, now you really won't need to, especially since the phone is incredibly thin and light, actually thinner and lighter than most candy bar flagships. So that's already just astounding. Then take into account, we actually have new hardware all around. It's not just the displays. It's not just that it got thinner and lighter. The only thing they didn't upgrade, and I already mentioned, we lost the S Pen, we lost the under-display camera. We also did not get a bigger battery. It's still 4,400 milliamp hours. You know, reviewers like myself, except people who got early access to this, have been saying battery life is the same. Once I actually use it, I'll be able to give you feedback. The cameras did change. So we now have the main camera is 200 megapixels, which is a pretty big bump from that roughly 50 that we had last gen. Same camera that you'll find in the S25 Ultra. And then we have I believe it's a 12 megapixel ultra wide, which has its own autofocus. I'm expecting good things out of that. That's a first on this device. And then all the other cameras, I believe, are 10 megapixels. So the telephoto, which has 3 times optical zoom, is 10x, or excuse me, is 10 megapixels. And then the new selfie cam is also 10 megapixels. So quality should be good with all of that. Before I start taking this off and powering it up, the only other thing that I anticipate being in here is the actual charging cable. Maybe a little bit of paperwork and a SIM tool. I don't think there's going to be anything else. And look, this is a $2,000 phone, but as I always say with the Fold and the Flip, if you stay in their upgrade family, there's the cable, some other goodies. I'm not going to dig into that. But if you stay in their upgrade pathway of trading in devices, then the deals are generally really, really good. This year, the deals were not really, really good. This ended up being a little over $1,200 US for the 1 terabyte. Obviously, price goes down if you go down to the 512 or 256. But to me, this is where it's at. It's got 16 gigs of RAM as opposed to the other 2 models, which top out at 12. Is that necessary? No, but I think it's good if you're going all in on a device that truly will replace a tablet. I think it makes sense. So as I reveal this inner display, this has been bumped up to 8 inches. I've been waiting for this. If you've watched any of my reviews of every generation of the Fold, because I've had every generation, I have always said, make it bigger. It's time to transition. Every generation, I was waiting for this. And when we got the larger front display, I was happy, but I knew more needed to come. And it just seems like what Samsung realized here was that the competition was coming. I feel like the last 3 or 4 years as the competition arrived, Every reviewer on the block would basically say something to the effect of Samsung is not doing anything to maintain their lead. And to some degree, I understood and agreed with that. But no one's breaking Samsung's brand recognition, just like no one's breaking Apple's. So that's kind of another conversation altogether. This looks like it needs to be charged, which I will do, but 8 inches now on the interior display from 7.6. The resolution is just about 2000 by 2000. It is an OLED, of course. Peak brightness, I think, is close to 1500 nits, on average somewhere around 700. There is that 10 megapixel selfie cam, which the quality should be great, but just take in how slim this is. And if I bring my Fold that I'm using right now, granted the case is on here, and I will have a full comparison, don't you worry. I mean, they're just so much different in terms of the size. Look at the spine. That hinge has been reduced, it seems like almost by 50%, but it's not that much. And the weight of the phone has gone down 24 grams from the 6th to the 7th generation. So only a little over 200 grams for this brand new, bigger, and better device. Now, the Snapdragon 8 Elite chip that's in here obviously will outperform the processor in here. I don't know what it will be like. I assume better efficiency with battery life. That's why, even knowing that we got a bigger display on the cover display as well as the interior, you may be wondering how the battery life stayed the same with the same battery capacity, and I'm going to chalk that up likely to the new chipset. But, you know, all the other features are there that you anticipate. Performance should be excellent. This still has a piece of plastic over, if you could not figure that out. It's a piece of paper, actually. And there we have it. So now it's out in all its glory. My wife also got hers in today. She went with the silver. Let me grab that so you can just see that side by side. So we have two colors. And again, she did not go with the 1 terabyte. I feel like the 1 terabyte is certainly not for everyone. Don't get it because it's the most expensive. That makes absolutely no sense. You know who you are. But if you need it, it's great to have, because this really is a computer in your pocket. I don't care how you look at it. That is the reality of having now an 8-inch tablet in your pocket that's thinner and lighter than anything on planet Earth in its class. In fact, there really isn't a whole lot in its class, and it just should have best-in-class overall performance. One UI 8 is on board here out of the box. Android 16, I think 7 versions of the OS are guaranteed. So that's a lot. Or it might be 7 years of security updates. I might be mixing those up. But either way, they're not going to abandon this phone, so I think that's really important. You know, your power button along with your fingerprint scanner right there, volume rocker. At the bottom, you have your Type-C port. Speakers have been slightly downgraded this generation. They're not as powerful as the previous. But really, I'm expecting every element of this phone to have been upgraded, other than, as I've mentioned, battery life and the lack of S Pen support. Every other element, it is bigger, it is better, it is lighter, it is more powerful. And really, this is the device that I feel like if you're an iPhone user and you've been wondering and waiting and saying, oh, they're not durable enough, I don't really believe in it, because of course it's not a price problem, right? It's not because you can't afford it. Then what it becomes is, why don't I own one of these yet? Why am I still sitting on the Apple fence and pretending that Apple's making moves when all they're doing is making movements? If you get the joke there, good for you. So it's just one of those things where if you really want something that will change the way you use your phone, this is what it's about. And the hinge did get firmer. The crease is still visible, but you know, that's when you're staring directly at it, it really isn't. And when you're using it, this is not something you feel. That's another I think, mischaracterization of the device. So it's just something you have to be aware of. But it has not been a turnoff for me over all of the years, and it's not something that I've just gotten used to. It's just part of the technology. I'm not saying that it can't be made flat, but considering how thin and light this is now, I really do believe this is the generation where, if you've been on the fence, like I said, especially the Apple fence, because what other fence would you be on? This is the time. And even if you're a Fold 6 user like myself, I mean, unless you cannot live without the S Pen, there really is no reason in my mind, unless we find out something horrible about this device over the course of my review time, to not want to make the transition to this guy. And I think the Midnight Blue, again, hopefully that's the name of it, is a really nice color. We've got Corning Gorilla Glass and ceramic on the front display. I mean, this has got it all. It's almost a return to that first gen concept where it was like the kitchen sink was thrown into the device. But unfortunately, there's a little bit of part spin, like getting the camera from the S25 Ultra. That's not incredibly old, obviously. It is current, but I would like to see them lead with this device. And the one thing I'll say here at the end of the video, again, just an unboxing and first look, is that I was so excited about this device, but I didn't think it would be this device. I really thought this was going to be the year where I'd get a shot at the, tri-fold, something even larger, but I'm very happy that this is where we're at because, as I've said, I especially right now need a lighter phone, and the fact that it got thinner and lighter but everything improved, that is usually just not a possibility on planet Earth, at least not with the engineering standards that apply and physics and all that good stuff. So kudos to Samsung. This looks like it's going to be a phenomenal device, and if you're still wondering, I'm not sure why. So excited to start using it. I will get this charged up. This phone had a charge. I should have shown that right at the top because I did charge this up for my wife going through the transfer process. But yeah, just a very exciting device. Any questions or comments, please feel free to post them. Hit that like button. And as usual, please feel free to subscribe. And of course, stay safe. Later.